Nothing is hidden before God, and that truth does not begin today nor end with it, but remains constant regardless of what is seen, what is understood, or what is still unclear. It does not depend on awareness, and it is not limited by what can be perceived. What remains unseen to the human eye is not unseen in His presence, and what has not yet taken visible form is already fully known before Him. Because of that, this day does not unfold in uncertainty from His perspective, even if it does from yours. Lord, in this day that stands before me, I recognize that nothing within it is concealed from you. Not in part and not in sequence, but completely. What has not yet appeared is not unknown. What has not yet been understood is not undefined. And what has not yet been experienced is not outside of your sight. This removes the illusion that what I do not see is somehow unaccounted for, because there is no moment within this day that exists outside of what is already visible before you. There is a natural inclination to move through a day based on what becomes visible as it unfolds, to interpret direction according to what appears in front of you, and to measure what is happening by what can be immediately understood. But that way of moving assumes that visibility determines reality. It assumes that what is not yet seen has not yet been accounted for, and that what is unclear is still undefined. Yet that assumption does not hold when everything within this day already stands exposed before God in its entirety. Your word declares in Hebrews 4:13 that no creature is hidden from your sight, and that all things are laid bare and open before you. And that truth removes the idea that there is any part of this day that exists in uncertainty from your perspective. What is unknown to me is not unknown to you, and what has not yet taken form before me is not waiting to be revealed to you. It is already fully seen, already fully known, and already fully accounted for. Because of this, I do not move through this day as if it is being discovered in real time, but with the understanding that what unfolds is not emerging into your awareness, but into mine. What becomes visible to me has never been hidden from you, and what seems to take shape throughout the day has already been present before you in full clarity. That changes the posture with which I move forward, because I am not stepping into something undefined, but into something already fully seen. There are moments within any day where uncertainty can influence how things are approached, where lack of clarity can lead to hesitation, or where what is not understood can begin to shape perception. But none of those moments alter what is already known before you. They only reveal the difference between what is visible to me and what has always been visible to you. That difference does not create instability in what is real. It only exposes the limitation of what I can perceive. I do not want to measure this day based on what becomes visible as it unfolds, nor define it by what I can understand at any given moment, because what is visible to me is not the full measure of what exists. What I see is partial, what I understand is limited, and what I anticipate does not account for everything that is already known before you. Because of that, I do not rely on perception to define what is taking place, but acknowledge that what I cannot yet see has never been hidden from you. This day does not contain unknowns from your perspective, even though it does from mine. It does not hold uncertainties before you, even though it may appear that way to me. What I encounter throughout this day is not unfolding into existence, but into my awareness, while it has always remained fully visible before you. That removes the idea that something could take you by surprise, or that something within this day could exist outside of what you already see in full. Because nothing is hidden before you, there is no part of this day that exists outside of your knowledge, no moment that is undefined, and no situation that stands without being fully seen. What remains unseen to me is not absent, it is simply beyond my current visibility, while remaining completely open before you. That establishes a difference between what is hidden from me and what is hidden in reality, because what is hidden from me is not hidden before you at all. I do not move through this day attempting to uncover what has already been fully revealed before you, nor do I approach it as if what is unclear must first become visible in order to be real. What is real does not wait for my understanding to exist. And what is already seen before you does not require my awareness to be valid. Because of that, I acknowledge that what I cannot yet perceive has never been concealed in your presence. So in this day, I do not define reality based on what I see, nor limit what is taking place to what I can understand, but recognize that everything within it stands fully exposed before you, without concealment, without delay, and without exception. What remains unseen to me is not hidden in truth, and what is not yet visible has never been absent from your sight. Nothing remains concealed before God, not in fragments and not in stages, but in its entirety, without delay and without partial visibility. What exists within this day is not gradually revealed to him as it unfolds, nor does it come into clarity over time. It stands fully known before him from beginning to end, without requiring sequence in order to be understood. That means that what appears to develop throughout the day is not becoming visible to him, but only to you, while it has always been present before him in complete form. This removes the assumption that time governs awareness from his perspective, because what is experienced in moments is not experienced by him in the same way. And what appears to come into clarity as the day progresses has never existed in uncertainty before him. Everything that takes place does so within what is already fully seen, and there is no aspect of what will take place that stands undefined or unaccounted for him. That establishes a difference between what is unknown to you and what is unknown in reality, because what is unknown to you is not unknown before him at all. Approach the day as something, as though understanding is formed in real time. But that way of approaching it assumes that what is not yet understood does not yet exist in full clarity. However, what is not understood is not incomplete, it is simply not yet perceived. What is already fully known before God does not require interpretation in order to be real, and it does not wait for human awareness to become defined. The word reveals in Psalm 139 that you understand thoughts from afar and are acquainted with all ways, and that knowledge is not formed through observation as events occur. That means that nothing within this day moves into visibility before you as something that was previously hidden, because it has never been concealed in the first place. What becomes clear to the human mind was never unclear before you. This also removes the idea that something within this day could exist in a way that is incomplete or undefined until it reaches a certain point, because what is known before God is not. What is already fully seen does not gain clarity as it unfolds, and it does not require time to become understood. It stands as it is, fully visible, without waiting for any moment to arrive, because nothing is hidden before you. There is no part of what will take place that stands outside of your awareness, and there is no moment within this day that exists without being fully exposed before you. What has not yet taken form in experience has already been present in full before you, and what has not yet been encountered has never been absent from your sight. That removes the idea that anything within this day could exist in uncertainty from your perspective. This changes the way the day is understood, not by adding new information, but by removing the assumption that what is unseen is somehow incomplete or undefined. What is unseen is not incomplete, and what is not yet understood is not lacking clarity. It is simply beyond current perception, while remaining fully visible before you without limitation. That distinction is what separates what is hidden from human awareness from what is hidden in reality, because nothing is hidden in reality before you at all. There is also a difference between discovering something and it coming into existence, because what is discovered has already existed fully before it was recognized. What becomes apparent during this day is not being created in that moment, but being revealed to you while it has always remained fully known before you. That removes the idea that something is forming as it happens, because what is seen as it happens has already been fully present before you. Because of this, I do not approach this day as something that must be uncovered in order to be understood, nor as something that must be pieced together in order to make sense. What is already fully known before you does not require assembly, and it does not require gradual clarity in order to be complete. It stands as it is, without needing to be revealed in stages in order to exist fully. So as this day continues, what remains unseen to me does not exist in uncertainty, and what remains unclear does not exist without definition. It is already fully known before you, without concealment and without delay. What I do not yet perceive has never been hidden from you, and what I have not yet understood has never been undefined in your sight. Nothing within this day stands outside of what is already fully visible before you. Nothing escapes the sight of God, not in hidden form, not in delayed exposure, and not in partial definition. What may appear concealed within human experience does not exist in concealment before him, because what is unseen to the human eye is fully exposed in his presence without exception. There is no layer within this day that exists behind a veil before him, and no moment that unfolds outside of complete visibility. What is not yet recognized by human awareness has never been absent from his sight, and what has not yet been encountered has never existed in obscurity before him. Because of this, there is no distinction in his awareness between what has already taken form and what has not yet appeared. What is experienced gradually does not exist gradually before him, and what seems to come into clarity over time does not move from uncertainty into definition in his presence. Everything stands fully known without needing to unfold in order to be understood. What appears to develop step by step does not require progression in order to exist in full clarity before him. This removes the assumption that what is not yet seen carries less weight or exists in a lesser state of reality. What is unseen is not incomplete, and what has not yet been recognized is not undefined. It simply has not entered human awareness, while remaining fully visible before God without limitation. That establishes a clear difference between what is hidden from perception and what is hidden in truth, because nothing is hidden in truth before him at all. The word reveals in Proverbs 15:3 that the eyes of the Lord are in every place, observing both what is good and what is not, and that observation is not limited to outward actions nor confined to visible form. It extends into what is not seen, into what is not expressed, and into what is not yet understood. There is no division between what is external and what is internal before him, because both are equally present within his awareness. Nothing exists in a way that separates it from being fully known. This also means that nothing within this day carries secrecy before God, even if it appears hidden within human experience. What is concealed in appearance is not concealed in reality, and what is not yet exposed in experience is not waiting to be revealed before him. It is already fully present. There is no moment within this day that introduces something into his awareness, and no point at which something becomes visible to him that was not already fully seen. Because of this, I do not approach this day as something that holds unknown elements in an absolute sense, but as something where what is unknown to me is already completely known before you. What has not yet entered my understanding is not without definition, and what has not yet taken visible form is not without presence. It exists fully before you, without concealment and without delay. There is also a difference between what is discovered and what exists, because discovery does not create what is found. It only reveals what has already been present. What becomes clear during this day does not come into existence at the moment it is recognized, but is made visible to human awareness, while having already been fully known before you. That removes the idea that something is forming as it is encountered, because what is encountered has already existed in complete form. The word teaches in Luke 12:2 that nothing is covered that will not be revealed, nor hidden that will not be made known. And that does not describe something that gradually becomes visible to God, but something that is already fully visible and will become visible to human awareness in its proper time. What is hidden in experience is not hidden before him, and what is not yet revealed is not waiting to be seen by him, but by those who do not yet perceive it. This establishes that nothing within this day exists in a way that escapes his full awareness, and nothing remains outside of what is already seen. What is not yet understood does not exist in confusion before him, and what is not yet visible does not exist in obscurity. Everything stands fully present, without needing to unfold in order to become known. Because of this, I do not define what is real based on what I can perceive. What is visible to me is not the full measure of what exists, and what is clear to me is not the full extent of what is already known. My awareness does not determine reality. What remains unseen to me does not exist outside of what is fully visible before you, and what I have not yet understood has never been undefined in your sight, been present in complete clarity before you, without concealment, without delay, and without exception. Within this day, what has not yet appeared to me does not exist in concealment, because it stands fully visible before you without delay or limitation. What I have not yet encountered is not undefined, and what has not yet taken form in my experience is not waiting to become known. It is already completely exposed before you, not in parts and not in sequence, but in full. This removes the assumption that anything within this day exists outside of your sight, because there is no portion of it that remains covered or unknown in your presence. I acknowledge that nothing within it is hidden from you, not in what is already visible, not in what has yet to unfold, and not in what remains unspoken. What has not yet been expressed is not concealed, and what has not yet been understood is not undefined. Everything that belongs to this day is already fully known before you, without needing to be revealed in order to exist in clarity. There is no distinction before you between what is seen and what is unseen, because both are equally present. What is visible to me does not become more defined before you, and what is unseen does not exist in a lesser state of reality. Everything stands equally exposed, without variation, because your awareness is not shaped by perception and does not depend on time. What unfolds within my awareness has never been unfolding within yours. Your word declares in Psalm 139 that you discern thoughts from afar and are acquainted with all ways, and that knowledge is not formed through observation as events occur, but exists fully without needing to follow sequence. What has not yet been spoken has never been unknown to you, and what has not yet been acted upon has never existed outside of your sight. There is no movement within this day that introduces something into your awareness, because nothing is being revealed to you as it happens. Because of this, there is no place for the idea that something could remain hidden in truth. Even if it appears hidden in my own perception, what I do not yet see is not concealed in reality, and what I do not yet understand is not lacking clarity. It simply has not entered my awareness, while remaining fully visible before you. Because everything that will take place is already fully known. What appears to develop as time moves forward is not moving into clarity before you. What seems to take shape has never been forming in your sight, but has always existed in full definition. This removes the idea that something is incomplete until it becomes visible, because what exists has always existed in complete form before you, because nothing is hidden before you. There is no part of this day that stands outside of what is already fully seen, and no aspect that exists without being completely exposed. What remains unseen to me does not exist in uncertainty, and what remains unclear does not exist without definition. Everything is already fully known, without needing to be uncovered, without needing to be interpreted, and without needing to be revealed in order to be real. I do not approach this day attempting to uncover what has already been fully seen, nor do I define what is taking place based on what becomes visible. What is visible to me is not the measure of what exists, and what I understand is not the full extent of what is already known. My perception does not determine reality, and my awareness does not define what is present. What is present is already fully visible before you, regardless of whether I perceive it or not. There is also no moment within this day where something escapes your sight, not in action, not in intention, and not in what remains internal. What is not seen outwardly is not hidden inwardly before you, and what is not expressed is not concealed. Everything stands open, not partially, but completely, without anything remaining covered. Because of this, I do not move through this day as if anything exists in secrecy before you, nor as if something must be revealed in order to be known. What is known does not wait to be revealed, and what is seen by you does not require my awareness to exist in full clarity. It remains as it is, fully exposed, without delay and without exception. So within this day, nothing remains hidden in truth. Nothing exists outside of what is already fully visible before you, and nothing stands in uncertainty from your perspective. What I have not yet seen has never been concealed, and what I have not yet understood has never been undefined. Everything that belongs to this day stands fully open before you, without concealment and without limit. And if you have come this far making this prayer, then close this moment before God by saying, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, Amen.